Hey y'all, it's Kim. I haven't been on for a couple of days. Well, since last week sometime because I've been working crazier hours because of the holiday season. Anyway, oh boy. Kamala Harris just won't go away. I don't know if y'all have heard this, but supposedly she's trying to get elected as governor in California. I don't know how that would work because Gavin Newsom is there. Newscum, if you heard what I said, because that guy is a scumbag. Anyway, this lady, oh my goodness, has she not realized that people don't like her? Maybe it worked for her in California, with all the liberals. I don't know, or the progressives or radicals or whatever they want to call themselves at this point, but I'm just like, America said no. There's lots of reasons they said no. I still have my little list. I was thinking about throwing this away, but uh anyway, it's this. I had to write down all the different things. But basically the border, obviously. Uh Executive actions that were enforced or whatever during Biden's first 100 days in office or whatever. And then the defund the police, her stance on fracking, health care for all, the gun grab, marijuana. If you watch any of my other videos, then you'll see all of that like in a little compilation. I was trying to put them together, but I'm too lazy. I just want to get through a few minutes of this. Ugh, thing with Camel Toe Harris. I'm sorry, she's just horrible. And then it says Harris speaks to young leaders after the election loss. And of course, the five is going to react to it. But let's see what they have to say.
Harris is back to give more pep talks to a Democratic Party. She let down after losing in a landslide. Not one battleground state did she prevail. The Veep addressing young leaders and trying to console them by talking about all the fan mail that she's getting. Watch.
These letters share a common theme. Yes, there is disappointment, but there is also resolve for the future. We must stay in the fight. I ask of you this, that those here and anyone watching, that you will not walk away. And I ask you to remember the context in which you exist.
Oh, Lord. No.
Yeah, I did that.
The stupid cackle. I'm so thankful we're done with that. For
Judge,
now. I know. She's going to try to come back.
We're doing the show. So I'm just wondering when you, I'm going to continue. And speaking of dysfunction of the Democratic Party, it looks like, please pay attention. There's no love lost between the Obama Pod Save America host and President Biden.
Trump isn't president yet. A fact that's getting easier and easier to forget as Joe Biden seems to be disappearing from the public stage as his term comes to an end.
I guess what I'm more concerned about is less like, am I seeing Joe Biden enough? Maybe he's right that people don't want to hear from him. It's more like, do I feel confident right now that Joe Biden behind the scenes is thinking of every single way he can try to future-proof the White House? And do I think Joe Biden himself is like at command?
Future-proof? The White House, you mean screw Trump over before he gets in there? That's what I'm seeing. Some people say, oh, I bet they voted for him. I don't know about all that. I think they are doing everything they can to screw Trump over before he can ever get in there. And then with these pardons and everything else. Anyway, these people.
Thinking about this, like right now, like I don't.
So let's begin with you. And I'm just wondering, the people are really concerned about the interim period between when Kamala Harris lost and January 20th, when President Trump takes over, because he essentially is filling a gap right now. Is there legitimate reason to be concerned that Democrats are making things worse by leaving a huge void?
I don't think so. Look, I like those guys, the Pod Save America guys. They're all part of they all should be doing what Kamala Harris should be doing also, which is everybody step back for a moment. Stop talking. This is, we lost. We lost the House. We'd already lost the House. We lost the Senate. We lost the presidency. talking about the things the vice president was talking about there. I didn't understand what she was talking about, frankly. But if you want to share with people that they shouldn't be down, encourage them to be more active in society. Encourage them to give the president the benefit of the doubt, the new president, and to try to work with him when they think he's wrong, to counter him. Politics has become part entertainment, part culture, part policy, and a dash of politics. President Trump mastered that this time. We should step back and take account of that. Now, these guys saying that President Biden they don't know where he is or what he's doing. He's been that way for 6 months and they weren't saying those things. So now that we are after the election, they want to say these things, and that's fine. But remember, you have a transition team. Waltz, the National Security Advisor, is working with Jake Sullivan. I have confidence there. The president is aware of everything. The new president's aware of everything that's going on because he's getting all those briefings. So my concern is not that. My concern is more so my party. We were on the other day, and Scott sitting in your seat one day was Charlie Hurt. And Charlie Hurt said in Greg's seat, and Charlie said, I want a strong Democratic Party too. When Democrats are in charge, I want a strong Republican Party. The country is better when both parties are competitive.
Can I just say that I don't think anybody should vote for Democrats again. We see what they do when they get in charge. They ruin everything. It's taken 3.5, almost 4 years. They've ruined the country. Woke stuff, the border, the immigration border crisis, the humanitarian crisis, inflation, all the money that's been wasted on this stuff. They don't know how to handle things when they're in power. That's my thought on it. But let's just, I don't even want to really finish this. I want y'all to watch these little videos that I found of Kamala Harris basically running her mouth on all this stuff. So let's see what she had to say here. So here's one video of her saying something about undocumented immigrants.
Oh. I mean, you did raise your hand saying a debate when asked if border crossing should be decriminalized, but obviously that is not your position.
I never intended, nor will I ever allow America to have a border that is not secure. I believe we need to deal with illegal immigration. There needs to be consequences, which is why part of my plan that I have outlined, and again, please go to KamalaHarris.com. Sorry to throw a website on you, but why not? And you will see that part of my plan includes what we need to do to actually do more as it relates to putting resources in, including increasing penalties.
Okay, so when that video was made, this was closer to the election. So after the debate, I think this was considered the second debate. People were saying, oh, Kamala Harris is debating herself on this border stuff. So for the first 3.5 years, we'll just call it that, she was for open borders. She said it many times that borders were racist. We'll go back to the videos and you can see exactly what she said. So let me go back. I got to go in here because I compiled these into little short clips and then I added them to a video. But this is her when she's talking about, hold on, undocumented.
To somehow suggest and an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 And we have to correct course in this conversation. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the borders.
Okay, so there she goes. Like I said, that first video, she was closer to the election. She thought that was going to change people's minds as far as the open border conversation. And then here she is again. Let's see here. This is a different video.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. That is correct.
Okay, so that's what she's saying. So basically advocating for the open borders. I don't understand why these people get to jump the line and other people have to go through all of the hoops to come here, pay money, everything else. But yeah, that's just what these people want. This is reasons that she should not be ever voted into anything. She's too radical. So let's see what this one.
2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if it was that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Exactly.
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't.
Well, and even if that's the case, if you saw that Congress wasn't acting in the way that needed to be responded to, you know, like as far as closing the border, doing whatever deals they were supposed to be doing, which we know that border deal, there was HB2 and then the other one with James Langford or whatever, that was just nothing but a farce, and it still would allow almost 1.2 million people to cross the border. So yeah, whatever they were supposed to do, if you saw that Congress wasn't acting accordingly, then why did y'all do something before then? If you really gave a crap about the border, which we know you don't, because we've already seen what y'all have to say about it. She said it in her own words. So
done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
But they undid all the border stuff with executive action within the first 100-something days of Biden's administration. Remember, 60-something, I think, had to do with the border. Yeah, so let's see what else she had to say as far as this stuff goes. Here's her on abolishing ICE.
To visit the border.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So
You haven't been to the border.
and I haven't been to Europe.
What an idiot.
I don't understand the point that you're making.
Standing there saying abolish ICE.
Yeah.
Is that a position that you agree with?
We need to probably think about starting from scratch.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants.
We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct. We will not rest until Congress provides all dreamers with permanent protections, including a pathway to citizenship. I know what a crime looks like. I will tell you, an undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
Okay, that's in her own words. Let's see what else she had to say. I've got all the videos. I pulled all of these from I think X and Twitter, whatever, because I know it hadn't been that long. But here she is on defunding the police. Let's see what she's got to say about that. Y'all feel safer?
Look, part of this movement, and it's not just a moment, it's a movement, standing on the shoulders of the movements before. Part of this has to be about changing the system, rehauling the system, upending the system. And so that piece of it, you're right. Under this attorney general, I have no hope for it being implemented. But God willing, he will be out of that office shortly. And then we need to have a requirement that that office do the right thing going forward.
So then if you're for overhauling, where do you stand on defund the police?
Look, right. So here's the thing, defund the police. The issue behind it is that we need to reimagine how we are creating.
Reimagine?
And when you have many cities that have 1/3 of their entire city budget focused on policing.
Have y'all ever watched SpongeBob and he goes, imagination? Every time I hear a freaking 50-something-year-old say something stupid like that, I'm just like, that's what it makes me think of. Reimagine, really? Reimagine? What a moron this lady is. And I'm so thankful that we didn't wind up with this Marxist nut for a president.
We know that is not the smart way and the best way or the right way to achieve safety. For too long, the status quo thinking has been you get more safety by putting more cops on the street. Well, that's wrong.
Stupid.
Because, by the way, if you want to look at upper middle class suburban neighborhoods, they don't have that patrol car. They don't have those police walking those streets. But what they do have, they have well-funded schools. What they do have is home ownership, high home ownership rates. What they do have are thriving small businesses. What they do have is access to public health and mental health services. So this whole movement is about rightly saying, we need to take a look at these budgets and figure out whether it reflects the right priorities.
Her priorities are just to basically screw America. And I'm so glad we didn't get her. Ugh, this lady. Let's see what else she had to say. Like I said, I pulled all these from Twitter and X, just all the little clips. Let's see. Here she is on gun control and buybacks. What is this? Oh, and confiscate. Yeah, it's not a buyback. It's a confiscation. Excuse me.
We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff. Yeah. I do believe that we need to do buybacks. I support buybacks.
How mandatory is your gun buyback program?
It's mandatory. We want to ban assault weapons. We need an assault weapons ban. We need reasonable gun safety laws in this country, starting with universal background checks and a renewal of the assault weapon ban. I'm also in favor of the assault weapons ban, of universal background checks, red flag laws. Congress needs to have the courage to act and renew the assault weapons ban. So it's clear that we must renew the assault weapons ban. Let's have an assault weapons ban. We need an assault weapons ban. Demanding, as we all do, red flag laws, universal background checks, and a renewal of the
assault weapons ban. Anything can be considered an assault weapon, lady. So what are you saying? I know what they're trying to say. It's almost like the AR-15, they call it assault rifle. It's not really assault rifle. It's Armalite something or other. And it's been around for a long, long time. Anyway, this lady, that's all they do. They get on these talking points. Assault weapons ban. And that's why you hear it repeated over and over again. If they can continue to repeat it, people get brainwashed. Either that or they get numb to it. But yeah, for the most part, I think they get brainwashed to the wording.
We need reasonable gun safety laws, including universal background checks. And to your point, Chris, a renewal of the assault weapons ban is just the right thing to do. But we still need an assault weapons ban. And yeah, I do believe that we need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously. Our decisions, because my values have not changed.
Ugh. Yeah. So let's see what else she had to say. This lead is crazy. Okay, what is this one? Oh, on gun grab. Here she talks about taking guns.
I'm prepared to take executive action and put in place a ban on the importation of assault weapons into our country. But we still have to deal with the over 2 million assault weapons that are currently in the streets of America. And so a buyback program is a good idea. And if Congress fails to act, I'll give them 100 days to put a bill on my desk for signature. And if they do not do it, I will put in place by executive action a comprehensive background check requirement and a ban on the assault weapons and importation of assault weapons into our country. I'm done. And that's why we will work to pass universal background checks, red flag laws, and an assault weapons ban.
Yeah. Continuing this rhetoric. Okay, hold on. I got more. I came with the receipt, so y'all ain't saying, oh, you're lying. This is what she's saying. And I'm so glad we didn't get this crazy woman. Well, I mean, here's the thing. If somebody goes to the gun safety courses, firearm safety courses, whatever state they call it, and you get like a license to carry, why are you going to go bothering people if they've done and they've met all the requirements that you want? I mean, I know that people get the guns and then later on commit crimes with them, but how many of those are actually happening that way? I mean, most people, like here in Texas, I think for the most part, we do get like a license to carry. At least I did it this way. I think 2019, I got my license to carry. I renew it every 2 years or every 4 years or whatever the time frame is. I mean, as long as I ain't going out there blasting people, then why is anybody gonna be bothering me about my gun? The FBI knows I have guns. I have several registered in my name, just so you know. I mean, I'm not sitting here acting like I don't have weapons, yes. But, I mean, I'm not going out harming people with it. It's for home defense. I mean, if I need it, I want it here. I want to be able to protect myself and my family, you know? We have all these weird illegals, and just I've said this before, we live in a newer subdivision, and so I don't know who's coming in and out of here as far as all of the builders and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't want to be caught off guard. Somebody breaking the house just as an opportunity. No, I don't think so. You're foolish if you think that's going to happen to me. Anyway, here's Kamala Harris on marijuana. Let's see what she had to say on this. These are all the things.
Oh, cannabis?
I just feel strongly people should not be going to jail for smoking weed. And we know historically what that has meant and who has gone to jail. Second, I just think we have come to a point where we have to understand that we need to legalize it and stop criminalizing this behavior. And so, and I've actually, this is not a new position for me. I have felt for a long time we need to legalize it. So that's where I am on that.
I love it.
Okay.
I think she's just pandering in that situation because let's see what else she had to say on this. These are her old positions or no, new positions and old. So this was at the debate with Tulsi Gabbard in 2019.
Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Yep, another reason that she lost. Because all you gotta do is go back. There's plenty of video of this crazy woman. Let's see. This is her on fracking. Let me see. Let's see here.
You. My family lives in Western Pennsylvania, where fracked gas wells have become a common sight. Yet the toxic impacts of fracking on the community are immense, from contaminated groundwater to poisonous emissions. Will you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking your first day in office, adding the United States to the list of countries who have banned this devastating practice?
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yeah, and starting with what we can do on day one around public lands, right? and then there has to be legislation. But yes, and this is something I've taken on in California. I have a history of working on this issue. And to your point, and that we have to just acknowledge that the residual impact of fracking is enormous in terms of the impact on the health and safety of communities. Yeah. So thank you.
So would you ban offshore drilling?
Yes. And I've again worked on that.
So if y'all remember during the debate in 2000, I think it was 2019 when she was on the vice presidential debate. So I guess against Pence. Yeah, I guess that's when that was. Anyway, so basically she said that Biden wasn't against fracking, that he would allow it. So she really never, that I know of, came out and said that she was against or that she was now for fracking. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's come out recently and said it, but during that time frame and even up until she started losing in the election. And I've got this Kamala on MSNBC, so I want to get to that one. Let me see what this one is. I don't know what this video is.
Hey y'all, it's Kim. So I'm going back through the last 5 podcast things that Kamala Harris has done because I'm really looking at the comments. People are just not feeling her at all. This one is Club Shay Shay, so Shannon Sharp. He had Cat Williams on a few months ago, and he was going through a lot of different things. I mean, I think that episode might have had 300 the town hall.
Okay, hold on. That's not the right video. Sorry.
Hey y'all, it's Kim.
Dang it. Hold on. It's still playing in the background.
The last 5 podcast things that Kamala first grade reading assignment. Sorry.
Okay, well, let me see here. I thought that was the right one, but that was something else. How about this? This was Kamala, I guess, addressing a lot of these things on MSNBC. Let me see.
Hey y'all, it's Kim. So I had to suffer through quite a bit of this interview with MSNBC and Kamala Harris, and then whoever this lady is, like Haley Jackson or something. Before we get into it, I do want to show y'all the comments. So I was thinking, I wonder what people are saying about this. Because it's a typical interview with her. She just goes on, and it's the same word salads and let me be clear and all this other stuff. And anyway, I can't tell how many actual dislikes it has. Of course, I put on there like for dislikes, but let's see. So it has 367,000 views on one day ago, and they have 10.5 million subscribers and 6,000 likes. So doesn't that say ratio to view? I don't know how many actual dislikes they have on here. I can't see them. But either way, so basically she's sitting down talking to this lady, and here are the comments. It says, whenever Kamala starts with, let me be very clear, she's about to drop the most vague statement ever uttered by a politician. It says the comment section here restores some of my faith in the wisdom and intelligence of the United States. If you've seen one Kamala interview, you've seen them all. I would rather vote for this reporter. She says she is concerned and listens to the people. Over 70% of the people want the border closed. Why is she not listening? Just once I want a reporter to ask, by offering $25,000 assistance for first-time home buyers, aren't you creating inflation in the housing market when sellers add an extra $25,000 onto the price? I'm a realtor, but I don't think that's necessarily how it works. But either way, it would still cause inflation if the government's taking tax money or anything else. However, they dip in all these pots of money. It's tax money and does anything. Basically, they can't give you anything without taking from somebody else. So either way, it doesn't matter. It's still going to cause more spike in taxes and everything else, and we'll never pay it off. And then anyway, she totally knew Joe was losing his marbles. She is not honest. This was so painful to watch. Great job, NBC, for calling her out on not answering questions. This was her hardest interview yet. And then it says, glad the comments aren't as brainwashed as the TV viewers. She said Donald Trump 58 times. Kamala, let's be clear. Reporter, but the question was, when did Donald Trump said he would terminate the Constitution? California already has price gouging laws, which she called them price gauging. It says, how are you going to reduce prices in California? No answer. Supporting Kamala Harris requires denying reality. I mean, I'm down probably about, 15 comments, and they're all negative. Why she's still talking about Trump like she wasn't in office for 4 years. It's a.
I want to get through some of this. This is taking forever.
I'm not
Sorry.
into all that. I'm totally pro-life, whatever. Get mad. I don't care. But this lady, I mean, she has no children, so she really doesn't have like a lot of empathy anyway. Anytime she talks about giving a tax credit of $6,000 to people, it's like, okay, that's a tax write-off. It's not an actual $6,000 in your account. I mean, you may get it back, but it's probably taxes they're already taking from you anyway. And then you get more money when you have children. So there's a lot of stuff in her policy plans, or whatever you want to call them, that's just not beneficial to the American people. But I'll play a little bit of this. I can only sit through so much of her cringy word salads. I just, ugh. Anyway. It's the same talking point. So if you've seen one, you've seen them all. Ugh. Let's start.
Thank you, Madam Vice President, for your time. I'm glad to be with you. Thank you. We were just talking about the campaign trail yesterday and these key Rust Belt battlegrounds, as they call them. Talking with undecided voters. Who are reaching out that olive branch to these voters. You want to bring them on board.
I'm going to make this a big screen, okay? So you all see it better.
Them, for so many voters, we know that a huge issue for them is the economy, right? It's the cost of living. I've been on the campaign trail. I hear that in the field again and again. You look at some of the numbers on this, and our new NBC News poll shows that more voters think that the Biden administration policies have hurt them rather than helped them. And I wonder, are the last 4 years an obstacle to you in this race?
Here's how I look at it. First of all, let me be very clear. Mine will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring my own experiences, my own ideas to it, and it has informed a number of my areas of focus, most of which are, on to your point, lowering costs. I have been traveling the country. I am very clear. Cost of groceries is still too high. The voters know it. I know it. So part of my plan includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries, including the work I will do dealing with price gouging, something I dealt with when I was Attorney General, something I will deal with going forward. Cost of housing. You know, I'm speaking with people of every background in every area of the country, of every age. And, you know, the idea of the American dream was something that previous generations could count on, not as much anymore. Bringing down the cost of housing by doing what I have done in my career that perhaps is a different approach, which is really actively working with the private sector, for example, home builders, to create incentives for them to build millions of new homes in housing units so we can bring down the cost.
Well, you know, anytime the government puts their hands in anything, it gets screwed up. So that means more regulations, it's higher cost. They're going to have to get more permits. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have permits, but if this crazy woman had gotten her way, it'd probably be almost like, I guess you call it like subsidized housing, almost like projects or something. I mean, they wouldn't even be like real homes. It'd be probably like what you see, like cookie cutter homes, almost like, and nothing against this, but if you've ever looked at military housing, it's very much the same, very cookie cutter, or there might be slight differences. Like in our area, you can't have like the same style of home but every few houses, like they have to be a little bit different. Either the porches are on this opposite side. I mean, we have brick home, but it's brick and siding. But anyway, this lady, if she had had her way, they probably wouldn't have been able to get these houses built. It probably would have been almost like apartments. You see them everywhere, high rises. I know at some point somebody in the Democrat Party was talking about getting rid of the rural. I hate that word. Rural areas or like country areas. They want everything to basically become urban. You know, everything. You've heard of the urban sprawl, so everything gets bigger. You know, the further you go out from the city. Yeah. Anyway, enough of her. We've had enough of this lady. We don't want her. She's been rejected, denied. Stop trying to push this. Nobody wants you. They may want you back in California, just like Gavin Newsom. Go back there, terrorize those people, make the laws. If they're stupid enough to stay there, that's great. I can't listen anymore. I'm glad we don't have to put up with this for at least the next 4 years, hopefully longer. Because she's just awful. She really is. She has no redeeming value that I can see. I mean, it's bad. And I mean, I'm so glad that Kamala Harris is not in office. Donald Trump is getting in there, and I think a lot of his Senate confirmation stuff is going to go through. So we'll see. I'm hoping everything turns out way better. Anyway, I will talk to y'all later. I know I've been going on and on, but I just wanted y'all to see why Kamala Harris is not a good candidate for anything. She wouldn't even be good for the post office, as far as I'm concerned, because she's too much of a nut. I mean, with all this woke stuff, the DEI, the fracking, the jailing people for marijuana, the undocumented illegals or whatever. I mean, just like, I'm so glad we didn't get this crazy woman in the office. But yeah, I will continue to make videos, whether anybody watches them or not. But I'll talk to y'all later. You have a good day. I'll probably be back on tomorrow. I just get tired and I want to go relax. So I'll see y'all. Have a good one. Bye.